It's my best friend. All right, and we're live. We started this show. As I told the past guest before, I would like make it mad superficial. I'd be like looking at that camera, be like, "What's up, guys? Welcome back to." But what I've realized is, why are you laughing? Don't laugh. What I've realized is, the more natural you make something, the more people are engaged.
Right.
And I've noticed that with like every single like popular podcast. It's like they'll just start shooting and then the guests won't even notice that they're rolling, and then they'll just, start communicating and stuff. So thank you for coming on. Thank you for accepting the invite to come into my basement with Bob. Bob's over there. You guys can't see him in the frame. 10 years later. And we spoke about doing this podcast. I think it was, I was trying to remember when it was.
Sometime last year.
I think it was this year after Bruna's birthday. When is her birthday? It's like January 21st, right?
30th.
30th?
Are you testing me right now? My best friend's birthday?
Is it 30th? Okay.
Bruna, he's testing me.
And I'm her cousin and I fucked that up. So anyways, 30th. Of course, I was just testing her, Bruna. Of course, just like she said. Just like she said. But yeah, it was after her party at Barcode.
Yeah. We went out
and
to
then
that
I
dinner.
slept at her house. Yeah. And then after that, and then we just randomly started talking about like mad like deep stuff, like deep interest. And I was like pleasantly surprised. I was like not because like after Barcode, conversation after Barcode is like most of the time it's just like people throwing up, people fucking, just
we were sober
flipping out,
just like talking.
and just sober and just like philosophizing about life and about. I don't even remember what we spoke about, but
just
I remember
like
that
energy and a bunch of other
a bunch of other stuff.
Things.
And then I told you, I was like, yo, like this could have easily been a podcast episode. And then months later, here we are in the brand new studio. And you just happen to be back in New Jersey.
Yeah.
And my question actually to start this off is like, why are you back? Like, why are you here?
Why are you back to New Jersey?
It's like, why are you here, bro? It's like, because I remember that you and Bruno were like talking about moving in together. Is that a thing?
We've always talked about it. I mean, if she were to ever move in with somebody, I feel like it would be out of all her friends. It would. Oh, maybe I shouldn't say that, but
yeah, no, yeah,
it should probably
be
like the both of us because we're the closest for a couple of years and so. But the reason I'm back is because starting the beginning of the year, I was in London for 3 months working and trying to get. I'm a model. If you guys don't know.
By the way.
FYI.
FYI. Yep.
So yeah, I went to London for 3 months. I was working there, and then I came back here. And then I went to LA to solve a couple things, and then I came back home now to actually stay home and make some money and get signed in New York again, and start getting my life back to normal. Because traveling, obviously, money goes to waste.
Yeah, of course.
Moving to LA, like
the expenses there is probably
gone.
Taxes and everything, like everything's more expensive there.
Everything is just like crazy. So I'm back here to start I came back to start my life over, but I'm actually moving back to LA.
Okay.
The 17th.
So you're gonna start it over real quick, and then you're gonna go back to start it over again. Okay.
So I'm going back, but I'm gonna be living with my boyfriend.
Oh, okay.
Shout out to my boyfriend.
And is that his brand? You were talking about his brand before?
Yeah, this is his brand, Artel.
What's it called? Artel?
Artel, the art cartel.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
That's dope. But so is like expenses, is like cost of living the main difference between New Jersey and LA? Like,
oh yeah. Everything in LA is expensive.
And where do you prefer to live though? Like, despite the expenses, do you prefer to live there as opposed to New Jersey?
So New Jersey is more of, I'm born and raised here.
Yeah.
I'm straight up a Newark girl, and there's not much here for my career. I'm kind of stuck. And all my friends, like, they work all the time or they all have their lives going on, and none of them do what I do, which is being creative and shooting and, like,
networking.
Networking. So it's hard for me to start something here when in LA there's, like, a big door where you can meet people. There's events every day, and, like, models are everywhere. It's a city of growth. It's a city the city of angels, know? It's where young people go to start their dreams in their lives. And I feel like social media is really easy to deal with over there.
Yeah.
So, like, I just go outside, post selfie, lighting, amazing.
Just tag it. And then,
know?
Yeah.
So I feel like going to LA is a good way to start
my
life. And I also want to get into YouTube. So
Yeah, and LA, when compared to like living in New York City, for example, like it's still more affordable than living in the city. Because if you're gonna like rent out a loft or a condo in New York City, you're gonna fucking like
Definitely
have to give up a liver or something.
Yeah.
Because of the living expenses. And LA like has always been this kind of utopian ideal. Like I always think about LA. Like I think about, it's so weird. Do you know Drake and Josh?
Yes.
I think about that movie that they did once where they went to California and they stole Tony Hawk's Viper, Red Viper.
I don't remember that, but I do remember.
Yeah, but
Drake and Josh.
basically like that stuck with me, and that like because they've managed to kind of idealize and kind of create this utopian ideal for California where like they went on vacation there and everything was just like super like out of this world. Like they would like walk and meet, see Tony Hawk and see celebrities and stuff, and the palm trees, iconic palm trees and everything. And then
that is true. You do walk around and see celebrities everywhere.
Really,
it's just a thing. It's like normal living. You
and
just go into the grocery store, you find freaking
Eddie Murphy,
Van Diesel right there.
Van
like,
Diesel.
What up, bro?
And like, do people approach them? Like, because you say that it's a normal thing, right? So like, are people kind of conditioned and accustomed to it, or are people still like do they fan out depending on who it is? Or
so the people that live in Los Angeles or the state
Locals.
of California, the locals, they don't care. It's just a normal thing.
Just normal.
And some of the artists and famous people, they literally disguise themselves by wearing a cap or shades or whatever, hoodies. They like look the bummiest ever.
Yeah.
The people that mostly approach them are people from out of the state of California.
Yeah.
People
just
who
like
aren't
tourists
from there.
and
Tourists.
stuff. And
So many tourists everywhere.
people who pay for that TMZ tour bus ride and they go visit the celebrities' houses. Like, oh, this is Kanye West's house or the Kardashians and everything like that. So speaking of the Kardashians, because I know that like almost every girl and their mother is obsessed with the Kardashians, and they just view them as like these perfect idols or some shit like that, like ideals or whatever it is. Do you consider them like idols? Like, what's your opinion on the Kardashians, considering the fact that you've lived there and you're in the modeling industry? Like,
I don't pay any mind to the Kardashians.
you don't give a fuck about the Kardashians. That's what I like to hear.
I don't.
I respect you more for that. For saying
it's just, I mean, I give them props for having their careers. And I mean, nowadays you can make a career out of anything. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, go Kim. I'm kidding.
Go Kim, you go girl, empowerment.
I don't really pay mind to the Kardashians. I mean, nowadays everything is based off of the Kardashians. You know, everything like,
revolves around
praises them and stuff. I don't. I really don't. I feel like everyone should do their own individual things. People can be so creative.
And be their own person.
Yes. And people just tend to like, oh, she's doing that? I want to do that. Yep. Oh my God.
She got a new nose. I'm getting a new nose.
Yeah.
It's like I'm going to like replicate myself. And
definitely.
It's funny you say that too, like how like because I view them as marketing geniuses, right? To a point where when they were like in their initial, I guess, start or road to fandom, to fame. Phantom. They did this thing where I read up on this on somewhere. I think it was the Hollywood Inquirer, whatever. It's kind of like they would walk into an establishment, into like a diner, a restaurant, a high tier, whatever establishment, and they would do something like they would contact paparazzis or kind of like leak their location to kind of like attract attention. So like they would like walk into somewhere, do something like tell someone where they were, and then 5 minutes later there would be just like a swarm of paparazzis outside that space. So, and then they would walk out, like they would like pay for water or whatever and then walk out, and then they would go to another establishment and just like keep cycling that whole process. And essentially like what they've managed to do is they make anything they do seem more interesting than it really is.
Right.
So if there's like a public porta potty and Kim Kardashian's taking a shit, like that will be like
the thing.
Headline news. It's like Kim Kardashian shits
in
like just
the porta potty.
Just in. Poop comes out of her butthole. It's like
Stop.
It's like, but it is though, and then like that becomes headline news, and that just like fascinates me because it's like that's what they've done. They've managed to make mundane everyday things that you and I do. We know people who do. It's just they've managed to, I don't know, just market it better.
Yeah, I mean, it comes from, again, they started from they didn't technically start from the ground up.
Because of their dad, right?
Because of their dad and their parents. So they just kind of like already grew up in that thing. So it's just like everyone had their eyes on them already because of their parents.
Yeah.
And so I feel like the paparazzi situation is just paparazzi's already aware of like everybody's footsteps. I mean, social media nowadays, your life is on there.
You're always on display.
People are like, they're getting in the car. It's like, oh, they're getting in the car. They know where they live. Someone could just be simply hiding behind a freaking car and just follow them, and there they are. Yeah. Doesn't technically mean that they're contacting them.
But they're always there.
There.
And you can also notice that when you like, I saw like YouTube videos of people giving tours and stuff, like there's always a paparazzi parked outside someone's house, right? Like a certain distance away. So if you're at like Tom Cruise's house, you'll see like 2 cars in the corner kind of like far away, and then they'll just keep an eye out.
I've been really scared sometimes too when it came to like, because I'm friends with a couple people. And I'm the type of person where I don't want fame from another person. Yeah. I know so many celebrities that if I ever wanted to get famous or like get caught with them, like I would have done it a long time ago. But to me, it's not important. I'd rather hustle and work hard for my career than to take advantage of somebody else's fame to make me get to the top. Yeah. So basically curate your own brand. Yeah. And, you know, have Samara be the thing rather than whoever you're with. Oh, Samara was caught with da-da-da. Yeah. You know? Yeah. Or not even Samara was caught, like a girl, whatever, 20-something years old was caught with. And then people that know me are like, oh, I know her. Like, oh, and then from there on, that's how it starts. Yeah. Do you feel like that's common in LA where it's kind of like I hate to use this word, but it's kind of like what it is. Like people feeding off of other people or kind of like trying to leverage other people's connections and stuff to kind of like further their own career or further their. Like, definitely. Do you think that like, but is it so much that it becomes kind of toxic, you think, or no? Oh, definitely. LA is la la land. Yeah. 100%. Fake, toxic place. And everyone there is trying to make it. Everyone there is trying to be somebody. Yeah. So you literally have to watch your back because you don't know who's your true friend. How do you live like that, though? Like, I don't. I've lived and I've learned, and I know who my friends are. Okay. I've been through so many obstacles in my life. A lot. I'm still making mistakes. I'm still learning. I'm still burning bridges. I'm still building bridges. But it's just a matter of life lessons and like realizing every action, every sign, everything around you. Yeah. And it's all mental. You know, the mind is the most powerful thing that we have. So why not use it? 100%. And just like learning how to read people, just reading intentions. I'm 100% there with you on that because I literally had a book, which my ex-girlfriend actually took, called The 48 Laws of Power. I don't know if you ever heard of it. No, I haven't. Robert Greene. But that book, like when I first started the whole Fiber Fitness project, like I had to learn what you just said. Like I had to learn how to read people and how to like tell who's actually with me and stuff, because being young and trying to aspire to achieve something, I guess, you know, bigger than you know, like you'll always have people trying to take advantage of you. So there's always people trying to take advantage of your ambitions, of your willingness to help, of your willingness to do anything. So then you kind of have to like learn how to read people, how to read intentions, how to understand the whole dynamic of power as well. Right. So like how power fluctuates throughout society. And so I was actually this morning, I saw this article that kind of reminded me of you. Like I thought about this episode when I saw it. Did you see the whole Nike scandal with Kaepernick? No. With a Betsy Ross flag on the sneaker, and then Colin Kaepernick criticized it, saying that this morning was my day off. I was watching Stranger Things 3. You guys better start watching. Is that good, by the way? Yeah. Stranger Things? It definitely is. I started watching, I watched 2 episodes and then I just got off. Sometimes during the day, I don't like watching news because it just makes me upset. It's just negative stuff all the time. Like there's never nothing positive. Yeah. And it comes to a point where you're just like, I give up. You know? But I was just fascinated about how, so basically just in a nutshell, Kaepernick criticized Nike for designing the shoe, the Air Max 1s, and it had 2
Betsy Ross flags, which is basically the American flag, but with the 13 stars, a kind of circle. We can actually bring it up real quick. So he criticized them by saying, oh, like this flag represents hate, or it brings us back to like, you know, slavery or whatever. But that's really not the case, because there's a lot more, you know, history behind it. But basically, all right, let me just show you real quick so we have some more context. So this is the
Wasn't
shoe.
it because of like the 13 colonies that they discovered first before they discovered the 50?
13 colonies, basically because...
We're getting into history now, guys.
Getting into history? Basically because, so, all right, so just a quick history lesson right now. So during the Revolutionary War, this flag was commissioned by George Washington. George Washington asked Betsy Ross, who was, by the way, a female at the time. Betsy Ross, female, business owner, who didn't have the right to vote yet, and she still made the flag. So she was, you know, very patriotic, whatever. So they created this flag, and they used it during the fight against, you know, the British. And it was with this flag that they were able to free themselves from, you know, being a British colony or whatever.
Right.
So essentially, it's a huge milestone in our history. And it just, you know, they wanted to put this shoe out because of the whole 4th of July thing. But then Colin Kaepernick came in and said, oh, like a lot of white supremacist groups appropriate this flag and they use it. You know, this brings us back to times of slavery, so it's not a good thing. And he just made it a whole, like, much more than it actually needed to be. And Nike pulled it. And that just made me think, it's like, since you're a person who's always like dealing with like brands and stuff,
right?
It's like the fact that a multi-billion-dollar company nowadays with, you know, social media, like one person can make all the different, like has the persuasive influence. It's like, it's crazy. It's like,
it's history. It's America's history.
It's America's history, and it doesn't, like, it's up to interpretation like anything else.
Everyone has their own beliefs. People can either support this or they can deny the situation, but it is what it is. It's what America has done over the years. America has their stuff going on right now.
Yeah.
That I don't want to get into details about.
Yeah.
But
America. Yeah.
America. This is America.
But basically, it's like you can't rewrite history. Like, that's my only point. Yeah. It's like, again, with the whole social media thing, I just have no patience anymore.
Me neither.
With like social justice warriors and like all these people who, like, every little thing. It's like, oh, there should be more inclusion here. There should be. Did you hear about the new Disney movie, Ariel? Like, they casted Ariel as an African American.
Yeah, I did see that, and I'm so grateful for it.
Okay, yeah, like, I'm like, neutral towards it. Like, I'm like, okay, cool, right?
Whatever, people.
But it's also like they did that, I guess, because they were kind of like preparing themselves to like avoid criticism. Because like if they cast like a beautiful white female nowadays, like that's not accepted. But again, why rewrite history if Ariel dates back to whatever, 19 whatever, the original story, and it always has been a white female. So just because there's like social
diversity,
just diversity, like all these people that have, you know, all this influence now, and they'll just go on Twitter and start, you know, bashing them. Now they had to make it a black person. It's like, but it shouldn't be like that.
Yeah.
You know, like they should reserve the right to put out a movie that still, you know, it holds true to the original script or whatever.
Doesn't matter what color, what race,
doesn't fucking matter
what you are.
If you want inclusion, you should protest Disney to create more princess movies. Create a new movie.
Yeah, just like they did with Moana.
Just Moana,
Frozen,
Black Panther.
But
that's kind of like in original script too. Yeah, but still, you know, it's like the whole cast was, you know, African American. So it's like, so do that rather than going and rewriting everything.
We just live in a very, very, very tough society.
Oh, 100%.
And with everything going on right now, it's like whatever you say, you're judged for it.
It's fucking ridiculous.
It's to the point where you kind of just have to keep your opinions to yourself and just keep moving forward and blocking it out and just doing the right thing.
But I think that that's bad, though, for the advancement of our
Well, that's why I talk it with my friends. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, I have friends where I can, like, communicate with and say, like, yo, did you see this?
Inner circles.
And then, exactly.
Trust people that you trust.
Trusted people where they won't judge you for what you have to say.
Yeah.
because nowadays when you say things online or like this right now is going on YouTube, like people are going to be like, but why?
Yeah, criticizing.
You know, like criticize you all you want. Everyone has their own opinion at the end of the day. But
like in my opinion, that is very bad for the advancement in general of like the whole species. Like you should be able to voice your opinion.
Yourself.
You should be able to question different positions. It's like, you think this is blue, I reserve the right to say that this is yellow, even if it's not yellow, right? But like I can fight and argue all day if I wanted to, right? I shouldn't, like, you tell me it's blue and I just like shut my mouth. It's like, well, like, okay, like if she said it's blue, then it has to be blue, you know? Like I hate that. And I've always been the type of person that, like, for example, this podcast is to kind of break that stigma, kind of break that standard.
Right.
Like, you want to say something, you want to voice your opinion, fucking say it.
So I kind of want to bring this up. I hated reading my whole life.
Okay.
I hated reading. I recently picked up a book called Fuck It, Just Be at Peace as It Is. And have you heard of it?
I've heard of it, I think.
You can pull it up too if you want.
Is it?
By, I think his name.
Fuck It. He wrote a different, like,
he has like a whole
various
series.
books with like
Fuck It Therapy,
curse
Fuck
words,
It
right?
Spiritually, Spirituality.
So it's called Fuck It what?
Be at Peace.
Be at Peace. Guys, I'm
It
pulling
should
it up
pop
for
up.
those of you listening.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. No,
Yeah.
I don't think it's this one that I saw.
It is that one. But that's the one
This
I
one right
read.
here. Okay.
And it's basically like, it's a really good book. All their series. I'm actually starting to read Fuck It Therapy. And I'm into mental like books where it's like self-growth and things.
Yeah.
Everything in life happens. Like, let's say we're mad at a situation right now. We're mad at it at the moment. Fuck it. Tomorrow it's over. Why are we like still going back to something that already happened? And I just feel like sometimes if something's going on, I don't need to express it.
Okay. And then kind of like allocate energy.
Yeah. Why give
towards
all your
that.
energy to something that it's like it's gonna
disperse by tomorrow.
yeah.
It's gonna just
like why
vanish.
give all
Yeah.
of yourself to something that's not even gonna matter tomorrow?
Speaking of books and speaking of on what you just said right now, have you heard of the book called Untethered Soul?
I have heard about it.
Yeah. So I read that book, and it was just it was recommended by a friend, and she told me to read it. And like, it's very thin. It's a very small book. It has a horse on the cover, and I was just kind of like skeptical. I was like, yeah, like what the fuck is this? And then I started reading it.
Don't
and
judge a book by its cover.
right? That's exactly what I did. I'm such a hypocrite because I love reading books, and there's books on this fucking table right now.
Yeah.
But these don't have covers though. So well, some of them do. Anyways,
Hypocrite.
fucking hypocrite. I am a hypocrite. But basically, this book talks about that. It tells you, like, it teaches you kind of like this. It says that we should live and go throughout the human experience, kind of observing things. For example, how do I put this? Imagine a filter.
Right.
A filter, it has two openings, right? Two openings. You should stand here and see things flowing. So things happen and you observe it, as opposed to you being the filter.
And
You're not,
it. Yeah.
you can't observe what you're immersed in, kind of.
Sorry,
You know
I
what
just
I mean?
had an itch. I'm just like,
Cancel
how
the
do I do
podcast now.
this?
Cancel the whole show now. She just itched herself, bro. One thing you can't do on this show is fucking itch yourself, and she did it. 12 episodes, 12 guests, and she was the first one to fuck it up. I'm good.
wow. But anyways, continue. So you
anyways.
have to watch and not be a filter.
Yeah, so like, if you're immersed in a situation and then it comes to like emotional intelligence, it's like if you're just losing yourself and letting yourself become a victim of circumstance rather than observing it objectively and standing back and saying, fuck it, you know, this just happened. I got in a car accident. What are you going to do?
Just be with peace at it. It happened.
Bro, find a solution.
Exactly.
It already happened. Why are you going to start crying and stuff? You know, be proactive rather than being reactive. Like, that's my whole motto.
Exactly. If something there's no solution, fuck it.
Yeah, fuck it. Like, I love, like, I'm actually buy this book. I'm serious. Every guest that comes on and just recommends something, I'm like,
you should definitely read it.
I'm gonna
I've been
save
telling
this,
all my
actually.
friends, they're like, Samara reads? Oh my God, like, what? I mean, after you start getting older
Books.
and, you know, I mean,
Yeah, you
I hated school. I was that type of girl. I would go to school. I wake up, be like, I'm going to school for my friends, you know, and then
Yeah.
I graduated. I did what I had to do, and that's when I started my career at 16. I was scouted, and I just started like modeling. To me, traveling is the best thing I've ever done in my life. And having a book where I'm learning
Yeah, while you do it.
while I'm traveling is the best thing ever.
Yep. So
Stay in school, kid. You'll
stay in
need it.
school. Actually, fuck college. Did you go to college? No, right?
I did a year. I did 3 semesters.
3 semesters. I think I did 3 semesters too, and
I
then
did.
I dropped
I
out.
was studying to be a nurse, actually.
Really?
Yeah. And I'm like,
Whoa.
what am I doing right now?
Whoa, let's get into that. So, why? Like, what led you to matriculate yourself and select that major?
I've always been a caring person. My whole life.
Okay.
I've always cared. Caring is my biggest thing. I want to be a carer for my kids, for my family, for my friends. Like, I've always put people first than me. So nursing was just a thing where I didn't really think modeling was a thing. It was just kind of like, yeah, I'm doing it. It's a hobby. Yeah, I love it. But it wasn't a thing where I thought it could actually be a career.
Okay.
So I went to school. I started doing like courses, psychology, sociology, and all these things. And I really liked it, learning about humans.
Yeah.
And that's
people.
where the whole like mental thing came in. And then modeling came, and I was like, oh, I actually like this. And that's when I started traveling, and school just couldn't happen anymore.
Yeah.
And I just like kind of gave up, and I was like, I'm gonna go do other things that are more fun,
That you actually enjoy.
that I actually enjoy. Because I'd be sitting in class like this.
Yeah.
I was like, I kind of gotta go, guys. Like,
Yo, it's
I'm
funny.
out.
It's funny you say that because I had almost the same experience in a sense where one day I was just sitting in the classroom and then I just looked around. I was like, everybody was kind of like that. Like they were either uninterested, they were on their phone, like they were sleeping. And then I just saw like the professor, because I was at a community college because I came back from Brazil. So then I was trying to, get an associate's degree and then transfer to like Rutgers or whatever. So that was like the plan A.
You wanted to
at
be
the
a
time.
doctor. What happened?
I wanted to be a doctor. And the funny thing is that
You were like 18 coming back to America, like, I want to be a doctor.
No, and
I'm going to school.
the funny thing is, the irony of that is that the reason why I came back to the U.S. was to avoid being a doctor. Because in Brazil, I was being kind of like put on this path of like being like a young prodigy, basically. It's like best school, like one of the best schools in Brazil. It's like private school, whatever. Like my parents, my mom actually, well, my dad, like they're both divorced. So my dad was like paying like half of it. So my parents were like investing in my education. Like they wanted me to be like a plastic surgeon or whatever. So in Brazil, like that's like the epitome of like, of top just careers. How top, just like how far up you can go. So then you can live in the best mansions and have the best cars, whatever. But you still live in constant fear though, because the most richest people in Brazil, like they have like bodyguards and bulletproof cars, and they just live in constant fear of like bandido and shit, which is thief in Portuguese. So I saw that. So basically, I saw that, and I saw like the maximum point I could get, because I look at that objectively to everything. So if you notice, like my whole path, so the like my path that I've traversed so far, it's like everything I do is something that I can kind of scale.
Right.
So this podcast, I could easily scale it to a point where I'll eventually have advertisement. I'll like start getting paid for it. Maybe I'll have people, interested in stuff. So it's something that I can see a future, a future that has no ceiling to it.
Right.
So I hate being like confined into like a box, basically.
A space.
And then Fiber Fitness, again, you can franchise it. You can expand it worldwide. You can, create a system. There's so many possibilities. So like to me, like I love that. So seeing something that has a ceiling on it, I tend to avoid it.
Right.
It gives me anxiety. I'm like, but once I get to that point, what then? It's like I'm gonna like live that same life every single day.
And I've always been an active person. I've always done dance growing up. I went to high school for dance, and I've played volleyball, and I've just always been on the move. So for me, sitting down in a place, I'm just like, so when are we gonna get up and start jumping around?
So guys, what's up?
So like I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I couldn't. Traveling the world has taught me so many things.
What has it taught you? Like what's the main takeaway?
Diversity, which is back to what we were talking back then. I've seen everything that you can imagine. I've seen poverty. I've seen the rich. I've seen the middle class.
Yeah.
I've seen people driving on the left side, on the right side.
Which is probably the most mind-blowing thing. It's like, what the
London,
fuck is going on?
it was like the scariest thing, driving on the opposite side of the road.
You actually drove a car?
Africa. I drove in South Africa, in Cape Town.
That's probably even scarier than London.
And I drove a Maserati.
Jesus Christ.
I was shitting bricks.
Who's the crazy person that trusted you with a Maserati? It's like first time.
They were all under the influence of alcohol, and they
course.
trusted me to drive their car,
Of course.
which was a huge thing.
Of course.
So I was like, yeah, guys, I'll drive on the opposite side of the road.
Jesus
Never
Christ.
done it before, and never doing it again.
My God. Actually, we're not advocating for drunk driving or drunk driving
don't
on the left
ever.
side.
I've always been.
It's a hypothetical thing, right?
It is though.
Yeah.
But I've my whole life since 21.
My whole life.
You know.
How old are you?
21. I'm gonna be 24 on the 25th.
Okay. So a whole life, you know?
My whole life.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm 40. Kidding. When I would go out with my friends and I would drive at the age of 18, I had friends who were older and, you know, whatever, don't drink until you're 21.
You
but
don't.
I'm just saying, I've always been the responsible one to where I'm driving because I'd rather my safety and the safety of others to be
rather than
there,
risk
you know?
it. Yeah. Risk everybody's life.
Exactly. So I've always been responsible in that matter and always will be.
But the whole traveling thing, that is literally one of my bucket list goals. It's like one of the reasons I was asked this on a friend of mine. He recently created his own podcast, and then he invited me on, and then and he asked me, he's like, what's your goal with the whole fiber fitness thing? Like, what's your goal financially? Like, what do you aspire to achieve? You know, with the money that you'll eventually make with like fiber fitness or whatever, like in 5 years from now or 2 years from now, whatever, like when you're at a financially, you know,
stable place,
like what do you intend to do with the money? And then I told him, travel. Like I literally want to be able to, and I've told this to my mom, I've told this to everyone. It's like, I want to be able to wake up one day and say, hey, I want to go to London. And I have a manager taking care of fiber fitness. Like I don't really have to worry about I'll have everybody trained or whatever. And I could literally just book a flight, book an Airbnb, and just go. It's like, oh, where's Callie? Oh, I don't know. I think he's in whatever he traveled.
Yeah. He's not here right now. He'll be back in a week.
And then just go off the map. Just go off the map and just explore.
FYI, he's trying to get a fly.
100%. It's fucking pissing me off, yo. I think we'll have to just cancel this whole show, to be honest, and just pick it up back
after
next
we kill
week.
the fly.
Next week when I finish killing the fly. But basically, it's like I just want to immerse myself in different cultures, just like you said. It's like experience different perspectives, right? Because you asked me like, oh, like do you see yourself living in New Jersey? No. Like my whole life? No.
Yeah.
And that's why, again, the whole franchising thing, it's like it gives me possibilities to like be more mobile. There's no ceiling. I could live in Thailand and still control and administrate everything from here. Any problem, hop on a flight, come back, deal with it.
There's nothing for me in New Jersey either. It's just my mom and dad and my really close friends. Yeah. Which one day, obviously, I'll be like, hey, come on over to my house in, I don't know, somewhere.
And wherever, And again, nowadays with like transportation and all of these advancements and social media, like you're always with your friends technically, you know, like you're not physically there.
And I make friends worldwide. I have friends from all around the world. I don't technically talk to them all the time, but with social media and following, like you get to see what they're doing or hit them up sometime and say, hey, like what's going on?
And keep those connections. And
exactly. So like I'm not alone in the world. Like I go to London, I have friends there. I'll go to Germany, I have friends there. Poland and Sweden and all the places I've been to.
And that's networking. Like for example, I truly believe, like there's that age-old quote that says, it's not about what you know, it's about who you know. Right? I do believe that there's some truth to that. You know, obviously you do need a balance. Like you do need to educate yourself, because if you're presented with the opportunity, then you don't have the skill set to take on that opportunity. So, but I do believe, like for example, fiber fitness, like it was through like mentors, like one mentor after the other, and then it's, you know, recommendations, and then it's this and that. So like you learn from other people, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do a podcast. It's just like I'm fascinated by the idea of another person influencing your own ideology.
Right.
It's like we sit at this table, and when we get up and leave this table, you won't be the same Samara before you sat. You'll be a different Samara in some shape or form. It's like
with all the information we take in daily, we learn something new every single day.
Yeah, and you're always changing. You're always morphing into someone else. You're always advancing your knowledge, your experience. Sorry, guys, I drank coffee and it gets stuck. Excuse you. But yeah, so the whole trap. So what's your favorite, I guess, place that you've ever been to? Like what's a place that you went and you were just like jaw dropped, like you're just either by the beauty, either by the opportunities that you had, like kind of like starstruck by the location?
So I have 2 locations where it has 2 different meanings.
Okay.
Where I was shocked into a beautiful place was Cape Town, South Africa.
I heard it's beautiful
there. It was like therapy for me, but I also have to say, like, I'm grateful for my job because I do have agencies all around the world. Mm-hmm. So I get to travel according to where my agencies are, and then wherever they're booking the job, I go to different places. So thanks to my job is why I travel. Mm-hmm. And South Africa, I was there for 3 months, and having the mountains and the jungle and like everything literally around you whenever you want it was like the best thing ever. And plus it's cheap there. Like $2 is 20 in their money.
Really?
Yeah, it's super cheap.
I thought it would be like the opposite. I thought it was like more of a London.
Their economy is like.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Does that reflect on like crime rates or anything? Like, is it dangerous or is it relatively safe?
It is dangerous. It's a third world country.
Yeah.
The homeless people is like, they come up to your face and they're like, can I have money? Unlike people here in America where they sit down and ask you, like they just wait for it. Over there, they just come up to you, but you have to be careful. Yeah. Because they could just snatch whatever you have. Yeah. Just like in Brazil, you can't walk around with like jewelry or anything because they'll just walk up to you and snatch you and run.
Just rob you. Yeah.
You know, but South Africa is more of a place of like peace and relaxation, and work there is really slow. It's really good to just take pictures because of all the beautiful scenery. But a place where I see potential in living, creating a family, or and it's also a beautiful place is London. I loved it. Completely loved it.
What did you love about it?
The people.
The people.
I've heard about that
too. Yeah. With the British accent.
I'm not even going to try.
Try it right now.
I'm going to humiliate myself.
Do it.
What are you talking about?
You're top of the morning, mate. So you watched the game. Who? Would you watch the football game, yeah?
That's kind of Australian.
That's kind of Australian, mate. Now I'm Australian, yeah. Fucking Australian kangaroos,
Oh my god, yeah, I don't even try. But yeah, London just
the people.
It's such a rich country.
Yeah,
so rich.
And it's so rich in like every aspect. Like the economy, the people are well educated.
And people there are hustlers, and that's what I like.
Yeah.
Being born in Jersey, working in New York, and just like hustling. Like,
is it true that you'll walk down the street and you'll see like a golden Bugatti, golden Lamborghini, like, or not just
on the
golden,
town you're in. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, but like a lot of supercars, kind of like a Dubai, but
when I went to Dubai, it was like everywhere.
Yeah, Dubai's fucking crazy.
I don't.
You don't recommend it? Uh-oh.
Ladies, if you ever go to Dubai, don't ever go alone.
Ooh, why
not? Go
not?
with a man figure next to you.
Why?
It's just the whole. I don't know.
It's because their culture kind of looks down
they have
upon.
a very different culture. Like, it's their culture. I respect their culture. But for women who are not from there or are not Arab.
Used to it.
Yes. Yeah. Just go with a man figure.
I was actually going to ask you that because, like, I have a few female friends from Brazil, and they always, like, travel the world or whatever, and they're always posting pictures. And then when they go to Dubai, they post pictures and, like, just basically covered from head to toe.
Yeah, I actually bought me an abaya. Yeah. But I wore it, and when I was walking through, like, the fair, the guy was like, oh, the abaya looks good on you. And I was like, you're not supposed to talk to me.
Wow.
Yeah, it was...
That's
It was very different. I mean, I was there for work. I was working with a company called Namshi, and we were shooting like clothes, like e-com for a website. So I was there for 2 weeks shooting, and it was cool. Like I was working every single day. Over there, it's kind of different. So their week starts Sunday, and they work until Thursday. So their weekend is Friday and Saturday. That was really hard.
That's kind of off-putting, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of like...
I'm like, oh, it's Sunday. I'm working. It's like a
Sunday,
Monday.
Church day. Oh, yeah, because it's not a Catholic
Yeah.
country, so it makes sense.
They like work very differently.
So they're trying to like separate themselves from the Western world. That's interesting how like...
But it's a rich country. Like,
yeah,
I respect everything over
Yeah, no,
there.
of
Like,
course, of
food
course.
is amazing.
yeah. It's just a different culture. It's just something that...
It was very culture shocking to me.
Yeah. Which fascinates me because like nowadays, even with the whole integration of like social media and everybody's connected, like everybody has access to information, but you still have these countries like, for example, Dubai, that still retains their cultural, just cultural ways.
Yeah.
And then you have China that kind of monitors everything you do. North Korea, that's fucking shit, like a fucking little space that's just
place.
shielded from the whole world. And that just blows my mind. It's like 2019, it's almost 2020. It's like it's still like
6 months will be like...
But again, we respect the culture, guys.
Yeah.
We respect China, Dubai, everything. We're just
North Korea, whatever.
Yeah. Actually, one of the questions that I really want to like dig deep into, just because it's like a part of your world and a part of your life, basically. It's like, I've always been fascinated with fashion.
Right.
In a sense where it's our way of expressing ourselves, right?
How you dress.
Yeah.
Yes.
So how you dress, for example, people say like, don't judge people. Everybody judges people. You're walking down Times Square, you see all those people. The first thing, like, you're judging everybody, right? It's like, oh, that guy, whatever. You're judging them, like, because that's the only thing you have to base off of,
Right?
Because you're not digging into everybody's mind and he has a nice personality. Like, no, you're judging their appearance. So my whole thing is like the way that everybody chooses to express themselves, all these brands, like, what's your take on the artistic aspect of modeling, the artistic aspect of fashion? It's like, is it to you a more expressionist type thing? It's more of a way for you to express yourself. It's more of a way for you to tune in to like an inner part of it. Like, has it unlocked something that wasn't available before you got into it? Or is it to you, like, what is it to you actually? Like, that's the
Fashion?
question. Yeah.
Working in the fashion industry, you do pick up different things that you kind of didn't know before. Fashion is mix and match.
Yeah.
You can literally pick a dress and pair it with some sneakers and make it like funky. It's all about personality. Fashion comes from personality.
Yeah.
So being in the fashion industry, I've done it all. I've done high fashion, I've done commercial, I've done like funky stuff, I've done flowery stuff, I've done princess, like, you've just done it all.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of your personality and you matching it to how you want to dress.
So it's kind of an outward expression of your...
It's an outward expression. Like right now I wanted to be comfortable and it's summer and it's hot outside even though I'm freezing and I have my sweater here whenever I get cold.
Branding purposes. Yeah.
Like, I'm just very laid back. I'm super chilled. I don't need flashy things to express, like, oh, yeah, I make money. Look at all this gold chains or, like...
Fendi or Gucci.
Again, everyone dresses according to their personality.
Yeah.
I'm very laid back. I'm chilled. When I go out, like, okay, yeah, I'm dressed, but I'm not wearing, like...
Yeah, like
it's just
high
me.
fashion. It's just the way that you feel at that moment.
I'm in the industry, but I don't even pay attention to it, to be honest. I should more. Yeah. But I don't because I'm just...
See, but that right there is, in my opinion, one of the reasons why you're still low-key... Well, not low... You're still...
humble.
Humble and sane.
Yeah.
Right? Because in like the way I look at it, it's like, I think that industry can get very rough.
It can suck you in, yeah.
Right? Because like you're constantly... I guess like there's like a high expectation of standards.
Definitely.
Right? So like it's always like, oh, like you should look a certain way. You have to be a certain, like a certain weight, a certain whatever height, like there's all like these meticulous credentials that or prerequisites that you have to have.
Yeah.
And so if you're like fully immersed into that system, into that grinding machine.
And
like,
I've had that happening to me.
Really?
Yeah, in LA, you have girls go to the gym with makeup on.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, they go in
waterproof makeup. Hopefully,
yes, they just like walk in there with like makeup on. New York, everyone's just like street style.
Yeah.
You know, Jersey, it's just like whatever.
It's just whatever. It's just pizzas and bagels.
In London, it's very high end. So you have to look very clean and classy and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's up to you however you want people to. I barely wear any makeup. I take care of my skin to the point where I don't need to put pounds and pounds of makeup on.
Yeah.
It ruins you. When you hit like 40, you're going to be like wrinkly. And that's why girls nowadays have Botox or like fake stuff going on. But hey, be careful when you're 50. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But you know what I'm saying? I feel like I've been saying that a lot.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
Because your skin just gets overwhelmed.
Yeah, it gets overdone.
And all the pores, right? Pores, like, they get clogged up and they don't have time to breathe. It's like...
Yeah. I have a skin routine every single day.
Yeah.
Like, I am now using the product Kiehl's. This is not an ad or sponsor.
Advertisement. Let's bring it up now. Guys, advertisement, quick break.
But if you want to, I'm gladly. Like, I love you guys.
Yeah.
But, yeah, like, I just take care of myself.
Yeah. I've always admired that about you. It's kind of like you have this very, just like you said, like very laid back personality.
Yeah.
Right? Because like don't take this the wrong way, but anybody who, for example, like they don't know you and they know that you're a model, they'll approach you with a certain expectation. It's like, oh, she's snobby.
1000%.
She's uptight. Nariz empinado,
yeah,
right?
Nariz empinado.
Yeah. It's like michido, whatever. But then you meet Samara and then you're like, whoa, like,
yeah, I get that.
This is
my whole life
confusing. Like, what, you know? And especially with the whole thing, for example, just like you said, like you have a lot of famous friends, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of people who are friends with famous people or whatever, like they tend to be very uptight, obnoxious. Yeah, like they tend to get sucked into that whole like clout world and that whole thing of perception, social media, whatever. And you've managed to fucking survive it, and that blows my mind. Like literally,
the reason
blows my
I
mind.
Still have the friendships I have with these people is because I'm me.
And they like that, right?
And I'm not like, oh my god, like
laughing at everything they say.
You know, like, oh, you're so funny. Like no,
cough. It's like,
no, like I've just been me my whole life, and I'm not changing who I am. If you like me, you're gonna like me for me. I don't need to put up a front
facade or something.
But I did do that in the beginning when I first started because fake it to make it kind of got to me.
Yeah.
But then it was just making me sick because I was like, why am I pretending to be somebody I'm not? And I ended up not having real friends. I had people using me.
Acquaintances.
And it's just like, oh, when I needed them, they weren't there anymore. So it's just like, it's a phase of like growing and maturing and lessons learned.
Yeah.
But I mean, being who you are is what people like.
Yeah.
You know, I'm transparent. I'm the way I'm with you now, I am with everybody else.
Yeah. And that's rare nowadays.
It
right?
is. Definitely is.
And I think that it's very refreshing, right? Because just like you said, like these people like you because of that.
Yeah.
It's kind of like they're so used to having those yes men and yes women and everything they say. It's like, yeah, you're the greatest, whatever. And then having that person that kind of like breaks that just breaks that facade, I guess, and breaks that illusion of perfection. It's like Logan Paul, for example. Like he probably has like all these yes guys and whatever, and people who work for them are all, like he's like in this little world, but it's not real.
I've met him.
You have?
I've chilled with him
and
many
cool?
times. He's dope, but he's Logan.
Yeah. He's a brand, always a brand, right? Or
he's the same, actually. The same way he is throughout everything. His if anybody here watches his podcast, he's the same. He's
interesting.
He has a backup to everything he says. Like he just straight up forward.
Interesting. Because like from like an outsider perspective, I always thought that, for example, when the camera's on, he's Logan. And then when the camera's off, he's like someone.
Logan is Logan.
Logan's
all
Logan
the time.
throughout.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jake, same thing.
Yeah.
Jake's a little shy though in person, but he's the same thing when it comes to like talking and stuff like that.
So that's actually more admirable, I guess. It's like being able to sustain that throughout rather than putting up, putting
up front. I mean, I feel like they're also at a certain point of their life where they don't have to pretend anymore.
They don't. Yeah. Because they can do whatever the fuck they want now.
Yeah.
Basically.
rich as hell.
Yeah.
You know?
And they continue making money off of
Definitely.
attention.
I mean, they're still
and
growing after like what happened to him. I don't know if you watched the
With
Shane Dawson.
with the Japanese forest.
Yeah, the whole thing that happened.
Okay.
I mean, like that really brought him down. Like, it messed him up big time. But
He still
they're on the ooh, whoa. They're fresh.
Slim Shady.
But like they're on the come up now, you know, and that's dope. And everyone should fall and get themselves back up.
Yeah. So you said the word come up, right? Mm-hmm. What's your definition of success? Like what I guess it's like, because when you say come up, you're implying, for example, that there's, a final destination, right? And
there is never a final destination.
So you don't believe in like a final destination of success? Like
I feel like success is the effort and the hustle you put into it and what makes you happy. But I don't know. I mean,
I kind of get what you mean. It's kind of like it's the journey.
It's the journey that matters.
Yeah.
And we should never stop, ever. We should never get comfortable. Getting comfortable is a way of being lazy. Mm-hmm. It's a way of giving up. And it's just like, oh, I did that. I'm over it. Let it carry on. Like, you should never stop.
Yeah. What motivates you to have that mindset, though, of, like, non-complacency, of, like, not being that person? Because I know a lot of people who are happy with the way life is right now for them. Like, they'll go to their 9 to 5 and they're comfortable.
Those are the people who are stuck.
Interesting.
And don't believe in doing other things. Those are the people that are like, this is what I have and this is what I can do. It comes from self-esteem. It comes from confidence. It comes from everything. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's to the point of where you put yourself.
Yeah.
And I can't, like, again, I can't be stuck in one environment.
Yeah.
Like, I need to constantly keep doing things and talking to other people and learning from other people and being involved with other people. You learn so much to the point where you're like, damn, you're right. Me sitting here and working my 9 to 5, going home, cooking dinner, showering, laying in bed, watching Netflix, waking up again the next day, and it's just like
rinse and repeat.
It's just like Black Mirror.
Yeah.
Why? Every day is different.
Yeah. I agree 100%. And it's kind of like those people that accept that mundane life or that repetitive routine are people who haven't really given any thought to accessing their inner potential. I feel like,
I agree 100%.
So this whole, for example, I always refer to this podcast because I do believe that it ties into a lot of things that I personally believe and hold true to myself. It's kind of like the whole motto is for outliers by outliers, where everyone's an outlier in their own right because everybody has a story worth telling, right? So what I want to do is, for example, like I've told people before, I don't want to necessarily invite, famous people, A-list celebrities, athletes, or whatever. I'll have them on for sure, but it's not a podcast for that. It's a podcast to kind of like show people, hey, we did a 2-hour episode, a 1.5-hour episode, and that person will get up from this table like, holy shit, like I've discovered something about myself that I hadn't discovered before, kind of, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like helping people kind of go deeper into their own mind, because I feel like nowadays with social media and with all of this technology, we're constantly stimulated, we're constantly being thrown information, and we don't have time to kind of step back, just like you said, fuck it, step back, meditate, just look inwardly and kind of like access your own self. So it's kind of like crowd mentality. You're always with your boys, you're always with your girls, you're always going out, you're always this and that. You don't think for yourself anymore. So it's very rare. So like coming here, it's like you're sitting down, and although there's cameras and stuff, after 20 minutes, the person forgets. It's like, oh shit, like we're actually having a conversation.
Yeah. But all my close friends, like we have these deep conversations all the time.
And that's good.
Where we share.
Yeah.
Like how we see perspectives and things like that. And like my boyfriend and I, we literally do this every single night.
That's fantastic.
We just like exceed our thinking thoughts, and we like to create. You know what I'm saying? Like we like to go out of the box.
See, but
we're humans.
That ties into the whole thing about like surrounding yourself with like-minded individuals. So he's like-minded in the sense where he doesn't oblige to like like he's not complacent. Like he has that mindset. Like he wants more. So him wanting more stimulates you and pushes you to want more, and you wanting more, vice versa. So it's that mutual, symbiotic relationship.
Yeah.
And again, it's all about your environment. It's like
it's about who you hang out with, who your friends are,
Yep.
and what you surround yourself with.
1000%. It's your environment. Again, people become victims of their circumstances rather than taking action, creating it for themselves. So that's one thing that I've learned throughout this whole journey, throughout life, is that I've lost friends. I've lost friends. We all lose friends, but we shouldn't view that as like us coming our fault, right? It's just a necessary sacrifice, I feel like, because you lose one mediocre friend. Like, I don't like saying that because like everybody has potential, everybody's great, everybody's whatever, but it's just like it comes to a point where your ideology and your wants and needs just don't align with other people that used to be in your circle. So it happens. And then you'll attract other people who align with that, and then you'll start building. And then once you build more and that person's being complacent, you could try to help that person and say, hey, like, come on, I'm gonna help you, I want to motivate you, but you just can't
like the whole thought of like, let's go out and get fucked up.
Yeah.
Why?
Right. Fuck, yo.
But I must say I got this from, again, my boyfriend, because he thinks very outside the box, and I'm so grateful to have him in my life to open my mind to new things that I didn't even know about.
Yeah.
But it's like, why are you doing that to yourself? Yeah. Why are you relying on something to make you feel a certain way when you could just do that right here? And again, the brain is the most powerful thing in your body.
That's fucking deep.
It's true.
But it's true. It's true. And that's one thing I believe a lot. For example, 4th of July, right? Passed. Do you know what I did on 4th of July yesterday?
What?
I was editing the podcast.
Hey, you were working.
I was working. But that's something like, I don't say that to be like, oh, like, look at me, I'm working, guys. Where you're whatever, I'm working. No, it's just something that I've conditioned myself. It's just a part, like, it's something natural to me. And she's cold right now. She's putting on her jacket. She did enough branding for her boyfriend.
1 second.
Boyfriend's brand. She'll be back. Hold up. Take your time. And do you want to go live on Instagram?
Did you pause it?
No. It's
hey.
Still going. It's like, hey.
I'm like, oh.
No, we still going, bro. We still going.
We
Shit.
go live.
We got this. So, do you want to go live on Instagram?
Yeah, we can.
To like ask people?
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh, fuck. I got the hiccups. All right. So, do you want to do split screen? And then we, like, I guess keep an eye out for questions or whatever?
Yeah, we can do that.
Let's hope that there's no bad connection, because usually there's like this weird sound. It starts going like. So if it does happen.
Do you want me to go live and then call you?
Yeah. Sure, that works.
But and go on when you see me, so I can add you to the thing.
Oh yeah. Okay, I see you now. I'm gonna request real quick for those of you listening. We're just signing on to Instagram Live right now, just to gather some questions and see what people want. We're having trouble loading this live video. Why?
Are you on?
I am, but it says that I'm having trouble. Hold on. Let me try it again. Okay, I see you. All right, no. All right, I'm going to send a request.
There you are.
Let's hope that there's no like crazy sound shit.
Okay, requested.
Fingers crossed that there's no audio sound. There we go. Fuck.
Kind of is.
Yeah, there is.
Keep me over there.
Stop. Oh shit. Fuck. Wait.
Sorry guys, technical difficulties.
It's because of all the mics and shit. Yeah, no. I'll try to put it over there real quick. Hold up. I'm just gonna pause. Actually, I'm gonna just keep it rolling. Just hold on. Yeah, I don't think this will.
Is it mine too?
It's gonna do that. Let's do this.
Just keep one?
Yeah. Go on yours and I'll go on mine.
Okay.
And then I'll just gather questions from my followers and you got the questions from your followers. Sorry about that, guys. We're trying to figure this whole thing out. There's always a bad connection with the fucking
Sorry, guys, for the echo.
Instagram live. And then I'll just, but then we'll continue. And then just ask them to ask questions, and I'll ask my people to ask questions.
So, guys, we are currently live, and if you guys have any questions for me to answer,
yeah. Yeah.
I'll show you guys the set. Say what's up.
What's up, guys? FiberCast.
Say something.
Just water. Shout out, Jaden. All right, I'll just keep it on the guess. All right, so what were we talking about before the whole hoodie thing? Before the whole hoodie transition?
I have a mind of a guppy, so.
I might have. Oh, no. Speaking of mine, we were talking about going out and getting fucked up and depending on alcohol.
Oh, how people, they depend on substances
themselves and shit.
to express themselves.
Don't you think that has to do with overcompensation? Like, the way I see it is, for example, coming from someone who has experience living in Hollywood, right? In LA, where it's arguably one of the most ego-stimulating places where, there's a lot of ego there, right? I do believe that whenever somebody overtly presents a certain trait, a certain characteristic, generally it's overcompensating for something. So, for example, a person who is too kind, or a person who is too cocky, right? Or too confident. Generally, that person that's too confident is overcompensating for something that they lack, which is confidence.
Right. If someone's too happy, there's something going on.
Too happy, then there's something going on.
If they're too sad, something's definitely going on. And
most of the time, most, famous people that you hear about, like Mac Miller, Brody, who was a comedian.
Yeah.
They're always these people that you would never expect that to happen, right? Like, they're always smiling. Every picture you see, every interview, they put up a front.
Again, because of social media, which is what we talked about earlier.
Because of social media.
Social media makes you present something that isn't realistic.
Yeah.
And that's what I don't like doing on my social media. I'm very blunt and up forward about everything. Mm-hmm. And that's why I don't post anything that's fake. Mm-hmm. I just post what's real.
What's real, yeah. Because social media, it's kind of like, it's not sustainable, right? So you can put up this facade or create this idealized utopian standard, but it's just something that long-term is just not healthy for your mental.
It's not. Your mental health is what's most important, and that's what carries you to being someone.
So what's your social media use? Do you, are you addicted to social media, do you think?
What is happening?
It's the fucking dog, I think. Are you addicted to social media? Do you try to police yourself? Do you try to limit your usage? Do you use it mainly for networking, business? What do you do?
I just use my social media for for work.
For work.
That's why I don't post anything other than my pictures on there.
Yeah.
Or my stories where I kind of post everything where I'm with my friends, or if I'm with my boyfriend, or if I'm with family and stuff. But it's mostly for work.
Okay.
Everything's for work.
Networking purposes and stuff. Yeah.
I've booked, the music video that I did with Charlie Puth and Kehlani was through social media.
So how does that process work?
The production company messaged me, and I was friends with Kehlani, so it was kind of an easier thing since we followed each other on social media. And the production company just DM'd me and asked me, hey, would you be down to do a music video for Charlie Puth and Kehlani done for me? And I said, I thought it was fake. So I sent it to Kehlani, and I was like, are you doing a music video on Monday for this? And she was like, yeah, I am, but we're looking for a girl. So I was like, okay, I'll respond. So I told them, and then Kehlani messaged them and was like, I want her to be in the music video.
Oh, okay.
And then she was like, I want nobody else. She's like, I know her, it's going to be great, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
And then they were like, I would have really appreciated if you didn't contact the artist.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, but I didn't know you were real or not. I'm not just going to, say, yeah, I'm going to do something, show up, and it's something fake. You never know. Yeah. So I'm always very careful when it comes to things like that. If I know somebody, then I'll ask them if they know these people. So, yeah, I ended up doing the music video. They made me, audition for it, But even though I was already picked, it was just a waste of time. But it was dope. It was a really great experience. Actually on YouTube with like 75 million views, I think.
Let's pull that up real quick. But there's no sound to it. What's the name of the music video?
Done For Me.
Done For Me. So let's see. Done For Me.
FYI, Charlie Puth is from Jersey.
Is he really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
He actually made an announcement on set. It was very embarrassing.
Let's see.
Should mute it.
Yeah, it's
Right
already
there.
kind of muted. No, but it's already muted though.
Why do I hear it?
Do you hear it?
Yeah.
Or so you hear it, but I don't. But it's not going on to the recording thing, so we're good. But just for purposes. So right now we're looking at the music video that Samara was in. Let's see.
There I am.
Oh, there she is. So how is that interaction right there? Like, does it feel like obviously like there's multiple cameras, lights, people.
It was a full set. It was like
coordinating
Charlie's team,
everything.
Kaylani's team, plus production, plus stylists, plus makeup
Director,
artists,
right.
directors.
Yeah.
I mean,
So-
it was insane.
Is it awkward? Like, how does it feel to, I don't know, to like do that? Like, how's the experience?
So with Charlie, it was very, he doesn't really interact much, as you can tell.
Yeah, he's just like ignoring
But
you. He's just
production
like,
warned me about it, which
Yeah.
was kind of cool. Technically, like, with her, it was more easier to do it with because
It's
we
more
like
organic.
knew each other.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Me and her, we just freestyled. With him, it was more like I had to do things to him as to he or she. We were just mutual. And then there was actually a part where I had to like pretend I was biting his ear, and he's
Okay.
like,
"What the fuck
if
are
you have to
doing?"
do it, like do it to make it look real. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, like whatever. So
Uh-huh.
I just tried acting as much as I possibly could.
And like being around these people who are like obviously
They're really
A-list
humble.
celebrities. Are they really?
They are humble.
Really?
They are. They're very, very humble. They're not snobby. And
Snobby or
like,
anything like
Kaylani's one of the most spiritual people I've ever met. She's very down to earth, and now she's a new mommy. But they're really dope people.
And being in that realm, right? Being in that environment, you're probably aware of the whole like Illuminati thing, of
Definitely.
like secret societies and stuff. What's your opinion on that? Like, do you think that there is such things? Because like if there was, for example, people argue that
I
obviously
think
like
it's just ambition.
you think it's just pure ambition, just like circumstances,
success.
opportunities and stuff and networking.
Pure success.
Okay. And then do you think that all of these conspiracy theories are just I guess people who lack the ambition and people who, you know, like that person that goes to their 9 to 5, they'll look at that and say, oh, like they're, you know, they worship the devil, that's why they're successful.
No.
Like do you think that conspiracy theories derive from that insecurity from people who
I think so.
who don't have the same
People
ambition as them?
overthink things too much.
Yeah. And they try to justify everything, right?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, she's successful because
She's
the devil. Yeah.
But no, that's not the case.
Ah.
I don't think so at all.
I've also always kind of been on the fence with that. I'm kind of like, like I went through a phase where I was
I
very
don't really
convinced.
think like the whole Illuminati thing is just a thing.
Yeah.
It's just like a name, but I don't really think it's
Yeah.
like I worship.
It was real, but back in like 19 something.
Oh
and
yeah,
then-
like back in the day.
Yeah.
But not now.
But not
I
anymore.
for sure
No.
think so.
Let me just tell people to, all right, guys, ask questions. If you guys have any questions,
Let me see.
just ask away.
If you guys have any questions.
Yo, if you guys have any questions, just ask away and we will answer them here. But yeah, but I've just always been kind of, I don't know, with the whole conspiracy theory stuff. But you do know that Hollywood is like a hotspot for, I think it's called Scientology. And like, apparently like that's a real thing. Like Tom Cruise is a part of Scientology, right? And he's one of the main advocates for it. And it's a very weird religion where it's kind of, I don't even know much about it, so I'm not gonna like go like too deep into it. But basically it's like, he's kind of a priest in it. Like he's always surrounded by handlers and bodyguards, and if he requests something, like no matter how ridiculous it may sound, like they'll make it happen for
Right.
him. So there is that. But the whole devil worshipping thing is just
Too much.
overrated. Yeah,
I
it's
don't
just
think that's even
way
a
too
thing.
much. But speaking about celebrities and just famous people, like, are there any that just blew your mind when you met them, or you got nervous? Like, who's one person, or maybe there's more than one, that you've just been starstruck, like straight up?
So one that I was so starstruck, which now I'm like really good friends with, it's Chris Brown.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
So funny story. I met him at a charity basketball event in Vegas. And when I saw him, I was like freaking out. And I was like, oh my God, it's Chris Brown. Ah. I love his music.
Like any
he's
girl
dope.
would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had friends that I was with who were like Instagrammers that make like funny videos and stuff. And they were there with them. And I was like, oh my God, he's right there in front of me.
I could touch him. I could smell
But
it.
I'm not like, again, like I'm not like that with people anymore. I guess it was just like the moment where it was like someone that I truly listened to ever since I was a little girl was just like in front of my face. I was like,
Yeah.
but yeah, like I saw him and then they asked him to take a picture. He's like, yeah, I'll take a picture. Never happened.
He never took
And
it.
then
Yeah.
last year, around like the beginning of last year, I went to this event and I was there with a couple friends. I was there with the Chainsmokers. My girl Christine Burke is dating him, dating Drew, the lead singer from the Chainsmokers. And we were all just like hanging out at this party, and I go to the like VIP room, and there it was, Chris Brown. But I didn't approach him, and I would never do that.
Yeah.
But like I saw him, and I was like, oh cool, like everyone's in here right now.
Yeah.
And
Together.
I was with someone who knew him, and was like, yo, what's up? Like, what's poppin'? And I kind of had like my back turned. And a guy named Caleb was like, yo, Samara, what's good, homie?
What's good,
And then he was
son?
like making a big scene, and then Chris comes and was like, you know her?
Yo, what's
He was
up?
like, yeah, this is my homie Samara. And he was like, what's up? Like, my name's Chris. I was like, nice to meet you.
Yeah, that's crazy.
We were like chit-chatting. He's like, oh, he actually lived in Jersey, in Fort Lee or Patterson, something like that. And
That's interesting.
yeah, from then on, he was like, yo, what's your number? Like, we can hang out sometime. And I was like, oh, crap.
Yeah.
Because, like, you hear all these stories on social media
Yeah,
with, like,
yeah.
people meeting people and people taking advantage of people.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I kept that in my head.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, sure, you could take my number down. I didn't hit him up at all.
Yeah.
So he would, like, FaceTime me and, like, call me and, like, yo, what's good? Like, super, like, chilled out. Would ask me to hang out. And I was like, I don't want to hang out with you. Like, I'm just afraid. Again,
Yeah.
which what we
because
talked about earlier,
that's implying-
paparazzis.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't want to be involved with any of that.
Controversies.
Controversy.
Or anything like that. Yeah.
I don't.
Because
over
of
there,
your
I'm over
career.
here,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So it came to the point where I didn't see him for a full-on year. But we would, like, text. I was in Dubai. I was in London. I was in Brazil. Yo, how are you? Like, what's good? Came to the point when I went to LA, and I was there with my cousin and, like, my best friends, and he hit me up when I was at a sushi spot. He's like, hey, it's my cousin's birthday. Do you want to come by? And since I had my friends with me, I was like, yeah, sure. Can I bring my girls? He was like, yeah, sure, whatever. So we go, and the sweetest person.
Really.
Super humble. Like, he's like, this is the pantry. Serves yourself some water, some candy, some
Damn.
chips. We sat in the studio and listened to his whole album, Indigo.
Wow.
Shout out to Chris Brown and his album, Indigo.
Damn, that's dope.
And, like,
Damn, that's crazy.
super, like, homey vibes.
So yeah, like the whole idea of like idols to me, just because like you were at this charity basketball game and then you saw him, like he was in arm's reach or he was right there, and it must be so, like, I guess, shocking to see that change and shift to like going from, oh, like, you know of him and you know that the entire society that we live in knows of him, and yeah, he's an icon, and then you're in a room with an icon. Right.
Vibing out, listening to his album.
And then all of a sudden he's just humanized again, right?
Yes.
So
Respectful,
there's
didn't
that transition.
literally like homey vibes. Like, we were listening, we were all just like dancing. He's like, let me know if you guys like the track.
Yeah.
Like, asking for our advice.
Yeah.
Which was dope. Like,
Yeah.
super humble, super like low key.
It's crazy that he called you guys to chill and he actually meant it, as opposed to like, just like you said, like a
Yeah.
lot
But there
of
was
people
like
try to take
friends over
advantage
and
of
stuff.
Yeah,
But like, it was
of
super
course.
like laid back, super chilled, and
Yeah.
like super vibes.
Yeah. That's crazy. That's crazy. Just like how accessible things, just like you knowing one person leads to one thing, and then it's just boom, 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 boom. Do you know about the John Hamm theory about the what's it called, degrees of John Hamm or something like that?
No.
It's that basically whichever person on this planet, and for you it's probably less because of just the environment that you've been immersed in, but basically it's like you can get any person on the planet like Jay-Z, and then he's 7 degrees of separation from you to Jay-Z, so it's 7 people. So you know someone who knows someone who knows someone. Eventually you'll get to Jay-Z. But any person on the planet, it's like 7. Like that's the max.
Yeah.
And it holds true. It's like depending, you know, if you play your cards right, if you're, you know, able to, I guess, navigate the world and navigate social media. And even now with social media, like everything's just...
It's easy to meet people nowadays off of
so much more
media.
accessible.
If people want to get in contact with you and they want to work with you, they'll just DM you.
Yeah. And have you ever thought about branching out in a sense where, like, have you ever been offered, I don't know, like movie roles or anything like that?
That's so funny you mentioned.
What? Have you?
Yeah, so recently when I went to this casting for this Beverly Hills magazine. And I'm sitting in the office, and it's like a bunch of offices with like different things. And this film producer named Jeff Rice, he makes like all these action movies, and he's actually shooting a movie right now with Ethan Hawke in Brooklyn. And he's like, hey, like, do you do acting? And I was like, no. He's like, you should. Like, you have like a dope look to yourself. And he's like, you seem like you have like a great personality and very ambitious and stuff. He's like, you should do acting. I was like, I do want to, but I'd have to live in LA in order to do that. So now since I'm going to move back to LA,
so maybe it's a possibility.
I'm doing that, yeah. I'm getting into acting.
So you're doing it?
Yeah, I'm in contact with him. And he's like, here, take my number down whenever you move. Like, let's get to it. So me going to LA, it's getting into YouTube, getting into acting, getting my modeling career going. And who knows, even start playing my saxophone again and making
That's what I was going to ask too. It was like
videos.
music or something like that. Singing maybe. I don't know. Because for those of you who don't know, she was singing before the podcast started.
Oh.
She was just,
I love it when you call me.
Exactly. So, but the whole like YouTube strategy, like that's very, very, very smart in a sense where you're creating kind of a personal catalog of yourself. Definitely. So like that you can present to directors and like they'll not present to them, but they'll know of it, right? Yeah. So they'll like see your personality. Like for example, Jake Paul and Logan Paul, like they probably get casted and the directors are, you know, knowledgeable of their content, of their YouTube channels and stuff. So basing off of that, they're kind of like, oh, like he would be a perfect fit because of his personality. Again,
they're always branching out to different things.
Yeah, they're always trying different things. And that's why they're successful now. Like that's why, you know, like they're, for example, I think Logan was talking about doing a slapping contest or whatever.
Yeah, but he didn't do that anymore until he hurt someone.
Yeah, exactly. But still though, like, you know, it's just so random.
His boxing coach was on my live.
Was he really?
Yeah, Milton. Okay. Shout out Milton.
Shout out Milton. But yeah, it's just like branching out into different things. And that's probably one of the reasons why I think California, just like we talked upstairs in the kitchen, you said that for an ambitious person, like that's the spot for you to go to.
Definitely.
Because of just
for
all
young
the
people, if you have dreams to be conquered, LA is the place to do it.
Yeah.
LA is the place to grow. LA is a place to just branch yourself out.
Yeah.
Create. Be creative. Basically
create. And New Jersey, one thing that I've observed and noticed from New Jersey in terms of like creation and everything is that, I don't know if it's the same thing in California, but here people tend to kind of, they also tend to shy away from, you know, creativity, but they also tend to like, I guess, suppress those who are trying to be creative in a sense where California, just like you said, everybody's vlogging, right? So you'll walk down the street and you'll see like a random nobody maybe who just started.
And you're probably walking around like this.
Yeah,
like, don't record me.
I don't want to be spewed. I just woke up. Fuck. But yeah, it's like everybody's trying something new. Everybody's always trying to create, and it's just a creative environment. It's stimulating. You'll see people, you know, branching out and trying new things. And here, I feel like people tend to, I don't know, like if you tell people, oh, I'm starting a YouTube channel, New Jersey will look at you like, okay.
Like oh, okay,
okay,
cool.
That's kind of weird. Like, why? Like, do you think you're special or something?
And like, also, all YouTubers are in LA.
Yeah.
So like, if you want to collab with them,
everybody goes there.
Just hit them a message and be like, hey, let's collab for this YouTube video. All right, cool, let's do it. And there you go.
And it's all about value arbitrage too, right? It's like, you know, you'll produce content, so it's good for them, it's good for you, because your audience is different from their audience, and it's a win-win situation always.
Yeah.
Right?
I would always say this thing, like, creating content, everything you do.
Yeah.
Walking down the street, creating content.
Yeah.
Eating this food, I'm creating content.
It is, though. Yeah. And the interesting thing is that, just like you said right now, you could be walking down the street and make it entertaining because you are you. As long as you're true to yourself, people that admire you will tune in.
Exactly.
So, for example, if you're aspiring to be just like, her name is Kalani?
Kaylani, yeah.
Kaylani. So if, let's just say that you're like trying to mimic her 100%, like you're trying to be her, right?
Mm-hmm.
That wouldn't be good. Like that would serve nobody any good.
No.
I don't think, not you, not those
They'd be
around
like, I've
you.
seen this before.
Yeah,
Next.
I've seen this. Exactly. I've seen this before. So the one power that you have is you. Like you're
right.
you, and nobody else can like mimic that. Nobody, you know, like even if somebody's like similar to you and you have best friends who are similar to you, like they'll never be you.
Right.
And that's one of the main things of like, I view just content. It's like you could start a podcast and then obviously people are going to compare you to like other popular podcasts. Like, oh, like he's trying to be like Joe Rogan. He's trying to be this. He's trying to be that.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like eventually people will notice, oh, like he does this different.
To me, I feel like podcast is a way of like expressing your inner thoughts.
Yeah.
Of like conversation. It's like having a conversation with people, but like so other people can hear about it and learn it as well.
Yeah. To me,
because people don't really communicate nowadays. Everyone's on their phones.
You just read my mind, yeah.
24/7.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing with your life? Why aren't you interacting with humans anymore?
Yeah.
I hate texting.
I hate fucking
I
texting.
hate it.
I hate it.
With a passion.
Me too.
Arguments, like everything, like I hate it. I'd rather call you
or
like FaceTime you or meet me in person to talk.
I always send voice memos and people get pissed off.
Yeah, I do that
right?
too. Because I'm like, alternative.
I'm like, I'm not going to fucking text. Like, I'll just say like 3 minutes and I'm good, you know?
It's like, okay, I express myself.
Yo, because like texting is such a weird way of communication. Like it's such
you can't really feel what the other person's feeling.
Yeah, it's so flawed emotionally. Yeah. Like you don't feel anything. Poof. And a lot can be left to interpretation.
Right.
You know, like you can't really, you know, with voice, I'll have a certain intonation if I'm happy, if I'm excited, if I'm nervous, if I'm sad, if I'm whatever.
I mean, now we got emojis. We gotta use
But even with emojis though, right? Like even with like that just adds on to the whole superficiality factor to me because it's
not like you're talking to somebody like, haha.
Yeah. It's like random shit. It's like a monkey face or whatever.
I know.
But that's still
I don't want to hear what you have to say.
Yeah. But that's still like a standard reaction though. It's still just like a ballerina's. A fucking an apple, a tomato, just random shit.
A water bottle.
Yo, guys, ask me questions.
Yeah, ask some questions.
Ask us questions. Let me see if anybody asked me a question.
Have you ever met? I actually got one, but it's kind of stupid.
I haven't gotten any questions, so. Hey guys, if you have any questions for me or for Samara, please just ask.
I only got one that says, have you ever met a billionaire? Yes, I have.
Have you really?
I have, yeah.
Who?
Dan Bilzerian. I don't know if he's a billionaire.
Yeah, he probably is with the whole weed industry.
Oh, you know him.
Investments, of course.
That's the party I met Chris Brown at.
Oh shit, that was.
But like last year.
That was the big main one, right?
Yeah, when he launched his CBD pens.
Was that at his new mansion?
Yeah.
Damn, that place is insane.
Yeah, it's huge.
That place is insane. Like everybody was there though.
Where I went. Yeah.
Everybody was there.
The whole world was there.
Anybody was there.
Yep.
That's insane, man. See, like being like at that spot, depending on your ambitions and depending on your objectives in life, like you can easily take advantage of that. Like that's so. How does that work? Like, how do you get invited to Dan Bilzerian's party? Like, what's that process look like? Like, do you know somebody who knows him who invites you?
I'll basically explain to you my journey in LA. Okay. So when I first went.
Okay.
So how I
brought up Dan Bilzerian, now it's like okay.
It's just like to how I met all these people.
Of course, yeah.
So like I moved to LA and it was what year are we in?
We're in
2019.
2012.
2017. 2 years ago.
Okay.
I went to LA for the first time because I was signed with this agency and I went to go see them and I was there for 3 months. I lived in a model apartment. It was 4 models living in one apartment, 2 models in each bedroom. Then being out there, the girls are like, let's go out to the club. Da, 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 da. You're like, okay, cool. But I knew this girl that I have met in New York, and she was actually in LA at the time. Her name is Jalen. Shout out to you, girl. I love you. And we're still friends until this day.
Shout out Jalen.
And I like hung out with her, and she was friends with these two promoter guys, Doug and Danny. Shout out to you guys. I love you guys.
Shout out. A lot of shout outs.
A lot of shout outs to lovely people that are still in my life. So Danny and Doug, they're two Swedish guys that came to study at a university, Santa Monica University, and then they ended up like promoting. And going out in LA, you kind of needed promoters to get in, obviously for free.
Clubs.
Models don't have money in the beginning of their careers. So I met these guys, but I've built a friendship with them to the point where I didn't forcefully have to go out. It was more like if I wanted to, I would go. And meeting them opened doors for me because it's with them that I met Alesso. It is with them that I met like DJs, and I've traveled to also different countries and done festivals because branching out and making connections.
Of course.
So I met like the owners of Tao and you know, like Tao Group and everybody.
Yeah.
And you just like build friendships, and like from there on you start meeting people. So meeting them is like, and then they're like, hey, we're going to this event. Dan Balzerian's throwing this party. Do you want to come? I went.
And then it just leads to that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So like it's just who you meet.
Again, it's the whole networking thing. It's just putting yourself out, but also you have to kind of have a predisposition, right? Like you have to kind of like put in effort.
At the end of the day, it's business. It's like connecting with people and having good friends around you. Yeah. And like where people can actually help you with your career is like amazing.
Further your career.
Yeah.
And do you feel like there you have more of a like one person trying to, you know, help another person further their career, or do you have more of a like
you can
envious like, oh, like she's, you know, like she's aspiring to be, I don't know.
I don't really force it upon people. I'd rather build friendships than to like throw like what I want to do with my life. I'd rather again, to me, friendship is more important.
Okay. Yeah.
So everybody I've met is building a friendship. And if I don't throw at them like, hey, I want to be this, can you help me be this? Yeah. Like, no. Yeah. It's like I'd rather have a friendship to where prolong, like we can all like grow together. You know? Yeah. Because you grow by lifting others. Definitely. Basically. And the best analogy that I like. But again, you have to be careful in LA. Yeah. Because people can portray themselves. 1 foot forward, 1 foot backwards. You're literally walking like this. Always keep your back secured and clear. Yeah. Yeah, that just ties into the whole beginning of this podcast where I was like, how could you live? Like, I live. But you can say I live in the world of everyone. I'm just very humbled and to myself when it comes to it. I've experienced so many things, but it's just like all that doesn't make me who I am. All that is just like an extra part of me. But what I'm doing for myself first is here. I'm trying to get myself centered to where I can succeed the most. Mentally. But I've parties, going out all the time, meeting celebrities, hanging out with like there's just no justice. They don't make you. That. Yeah. They don't make you. Yeah. They don't make you. Yeah. And then you, like we've spoken a lot about success and everything. Like, what's your? You said that it's the journey, but the journey towards what? Like, what's my happiness? Your happiness. Money, I don't care about it. Yeah. I mean, I do to where you can be comfortable. But having financial freedom. Yeah. Yeah. Financial freedom is that's like the only thing I care about too. It's like financial. A lot of people say, "Oh, I want to have millions of dollars. I want to like buy this and that." I just want to be comfortable. I want to be able to walk into any store, any restaurant, and not have to worry about the check or the price tag. Right. Like that's my definition of like the money aspect. Of like things. You won't ever see me in like shot out like Gucci. Yeah. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I have some Gucci sneakers because I treated myself with it when I got paid from like working hard. But like that's the only thing up there that I own. Yeah. And it's more about just being happy with who you are. Because people have trouble figuring out who they are. Yeah. And it's a very long and difficult process if you think about it, right? Like because figuring out what your flaws are and what people like notice. Like that's something recently that I've been doing for myself is fixing my flaws because I do things without thinking, and then I just like I'm very like fly like whatever like la 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 la. I can be hurting someone and I don't even notice. And I've done that a couple of times. But so, it's not out of being like rude or you know.
So basically being mature enough to
realize.
To self-analyze.
Self-analyzation.
Yeah.
I think I said that right.
I think you did too. If you didn't, beep. Just beep it out. No, yeah. And that takes a lot of balls kind of to like be able to look yourself in the mirror and be the one who criticizes. Because again, a lot of people just go about their life and it's kind of like delusional. It's kind of like avoiding confronting your problems.
I'm very hard with myself.
Me too. Yeah. And I like to say like I'm my biggest critic and my biggest fan. It's like even when nobody.
I'm still getting there.
Yeah. But you have to get to that. Like you have to establish that.
Yeah.
Because like that's like a precondition for you to create anything. Like, for example, Kanye West, right? Touching on sneakers because you talked about, you know, just buying those Gucci sneakers because you were trying to treat yourself and whatever.
Yeah.
I went through a phase as well where, you know, when I started like, you know, getting money, like my own money and started like, you know, actually making money, like I went out and bought a bunch of like Yeezys or whatever and sneakers and stuff. But mainly because Kanye West, like I'm just a huge fan of him. It's just, you know, he talks a lot about that. He talks about how you should be, how does he say? It's unapologetically great.
I did hear him say that before.
Yeah. So don't apologize for being great. Don't apologize because your friends are insecure and they're portraying their insecurities onto you.
I'm learning how to not say I'm sorry a lot.
Stop saying I'm sorry. That's one of the things.
I'm just very like, I know I'm a good person.
Yeah.
So like, I just apologize for like, I'm sorry the world isn't all great that you thought it would be great, you know?
Yeah.
But it's like, why am I saying sorry? So that's like something I'm also picking up. Well, that snap was nice.
Yeah. Let's just snap now. Like the whole podcast is just.
So, you know, like
ASMR. Just some jazz music. But no, but I get it though. It's like, just be unapologetically great. And I do think that, again, that's why you have to surround yourself with people who don't judge you for that, for like aspiring to be more than you are. You know, like if your ambitions intimidate those around you, then you're at the wrong table. Then you're in the wrong circles. Yeah. You know, if people are trying to hold you down, if they're trying to break down your dreams, or even if it's an abstract concept or whatever, and they're the first to criticize it and try to tear it down, then you should find new friends and people who will like stimulate and believe in you and stuff. And but so would you say that that's one of the greatest takeaways from like living in LA compared to any other places, that you've learned how to, I guess, maneuver the whole, like kind of you've curated this skill of like networking and just being a people person and kind of
definitely
engaging with people and reading people, just like you said. So it's kind of pushing you in the middle of the ocean and telling you to swim, basically.
Yeah, I hated it at first. When I was like, I don't know if, I think you remember me saying, I was like, I hate LA, I don't want to be there anymore.
I think so.
Like,
yeah.
But that's because I was hanging out with the wrong people.
Ooh, okay.
Wrong people.
And
now I'm with the right people, so I'm like, I love LA.
Yeah.
What? There's so much to do.
And it
so much
changes your
to
whole
see.
perspective, right?
Oh, yeah, big time. Yeah. I'm like, I'm here to work, not to like fuck around. You know?
Of course. All right, so I think I got a question. What do you feel about knowingly using someone to get ahead? For example, you know a certain photographer is a piece of shit, but if you do the shoot with him, you'll go 10 steps forward in your career. Do you work with him? Oh, that's a good question. So basically what she's asking is, where do you establish that division? Like how far are you willing to go in order to get ahead? In terms of, for example, let's say that you're working with a photographer.
Right.
That's an asshole. This guy treats you like shit. But he's like one of the top photographers in the world, and working with him will get you so many opportunities, so many future jobs and gigs. Would you endure that suffering, even if it pushes you to your absolute edge and limit, a point where no other photographer has ever done this to you, and you're just like, what the fuck, I want to fucking kill this guy? Would you endure it for that perspective gain, or would you just...
I wouldn't.
It's just
I wouldn't be
worth
comfortable.
So
why am I going to shoot with somebody that's not going to respect me?
Yeah.
But I want it to make it. Why risk it?
Yeah.
I'm not going to risk my comfort in making the shot look horrible.
Yeah.
I'd rather make it look great to the point where I'm comfortable and still do the same thing with this great photographer or with another photographer.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't risk it for my own self.
And that's probably because just
I don't want to be famous.
Just like you defined your idea of success as your happiness, right? So, for example, I would imagine that there are girls, though, who would endure anything, like almost anything to get ahead, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
In Hollywood. And we know about a lot of actresses who have done, you know,
I don't want to be
weird
famous.
things. Yeah. The concept of fame just fucking...
I don't want to be famous. I want to be a positive, hardworking... I just want to hustle. I just want to do what makes me happy. Yeah. And I have the opportunity to do that, so why not? Yeah. But I don't want to be famous. It's too much.
Yeah.
It takes away your privacy. It takes away your life.
Mental health.
Yeah.
And you've been talking about working on your health, so it's counterproductive.
I had depression last year.
Was it during your Hollywood stay? During your LA stay?
It triggered the year before because I lost my grandmother. So that really, it's still a thing that like triggers my mind, and I'm still like coping with it. It's going to be 2 years in August, but that's like what triggered it because I was away from my family. When it happened, I was actually working in Arkansas, middle of nowhere.
Wow.
And it triggered. I was away from everything, and she got hit by a car. So that's the only reason why it triggered me 10 times more, because it's like I didn't say bye. I didn't see her like almost a year prior to that. So it was just a lot. And I had her, so I'm Catholic. Well, actually, I'm not going to put a label on it. I believe in God.
Okay.
And God is the main person. But my grandmother at the time, she would be the one praying for me and making me feel better as a person. So when I had her gone, I didn't know where to go or where to turn. So I just had so much pressure and so much bad energy on me.
Accumulated.
Yeah, that I just would stay in my room laying down, sleeping all the time. Are you getting emotional?
No, because it's, like it's something that, especially the fact that it was something that you didn't foresee.
Yeah.
It wasn't like like cancer, like it wasn't something that was inevitable.
Yeah.
It
just was sudden.
It just happened.
Yeah,
and she lived here
Brazil.
or in Brazil?
Brazil.
Brazil.
But like just me not having her there anymore as like, she was like my savior, I guess.
She was your safe haven, basically.
My safe haven, yeah. And when she was gone, I didn't know what to do. I just like grew into like this really like small bubble, and that's when I like gained weight last year, and I like started feeling like really sick and stuff. I got really, really sick. I had infections left and right. Not taking care of myself at all until like my agency in New York dropped me. Yeah, last year in June.
So that just added on.
It just triggered. And then that's when, you know what, I'm going to work hard. I went to LA. That's when I moved to LA, like super sudden.
Wow.
I moved there in July 18th of last year. Wow. And I'm going back. But I moved sudden. Whatever savings I had, I like whatever, All my savings went to this apartment that I had. And I ended up not having anything, and I was already mentally sick, trying to lose weight. I didn't eat and stuff. So then I left LA. That's when I re-signed, and I got signed in Miami, and I got signed in London. That's when I went to Miami last year. Oh. And I did the swimsuit shots that I did. I don't know if we want to pull that up.
Do you want to pull it up?
Yeah.
On your Instagram?
Yeah.
All right, hold on, guys.
And
let's pull it up.
Those shots are like what made me feel that I have potential. Go down. Down, 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 down. Yeah, that one.
This one?
Yeah, those shots.
Okay. So this was in Miami.
This was in Miami.
This was with a new agency.
This was with my Miami agency.
Okay.
Where I got signed.
Wow.
I got signed in October, and then December I was there. And yeah, and then after that I went to Brazil on vacation. There's actually more pictures if you wanna.
Oh, on the post, you mean?
No.
Oh, wait.
Like more down.
Down. Here.
Down. That's one of them.
Yeah.
There's more.
And then here you were in Brazil, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I went to Brazil.
Okay, yeah, here.
Yeah. And I was with family, and I was working out while being in Brazil. And that's when I had the strong mentality. And I started believing in God. And that's when I pray almost all the time now. And I've now become very spiritual. And I'm still accepting my spirituality because I know I have more potential in it. And yeah, I feel like my grandmother had a purpose for me. And I now believe in God more than I believed ever.
That's fascinating to me, just how all of this adversity just accumulated on your shoulders, on your back, and that prompted you to
Succeeding and being
succeed and just search for more. Like, most people would just succumb to that and break and, you know, and just go deeper down that rabbit hole. So that, to me, for example, in my opinion, like, that's like something happened either in your childhood, your environment, your upbringing, even genetically, maybe. Like, there's a predisposition, like something kind of has a big influence on just your ability to do that. Like, something has to be like triggered. It's like, holy shit, like, you know, like it's a fight or flight type of thing.
Yeah.
So most people, you know, take the easy way out, and you actually charged head first.
I'm very strong-minded.
Yeah, that's great.
But it was a struggle. It was very, very hard.
I
And
can
like
imagine.
finding diets and like just me believing in God helped a lot. And I know some people are very like, I don't want to talk about God, but like he helped. It helped. You know, and that's who I am today, and I put him first, and here I am being very positive as much as I can.
No, and speaking about like religion and everything, like, I openly talk about religion on this podcast. Like, there's no like judgment, there's nothing. I have my own beliefs on like religion and everything, but I respect everybody's belief. You know, like, that's the first step, I think, to like evolution, you know, like of our species, like acceptance. So you say God and you refer to him as him, right? So like, is God like a male energy? Like, what is God to you? Like, what
the creator of all.
But when you say God, like, what image do you have in your head? Like, if you had to draw God, like what does he look like to you?
I don't. I just put my faith in him.
He just is.
He just is.
Yeah.
And he shows me signs. I don't see him as an image. I just see him as a faith.
As in energy, maybe.
Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely energy.
I can see, like, I think
he's given me signs to that's where I picked up, and I've made the decisions I've made.
Do you think that, like, these signs, for example, do you think that, so your grandmother's passing kind of made it so that you would be more, I guess, more observant of like these spiritual signs, I guess. It's like you would keep an eye out more, right? So like you would be like more open to interpreting things that maybe before you would overlook.
Yeah. So one of the reasons I kind of let loose and like grieved her easily was I went to Holy Mass with my mom, St. James Church in Newark, and it's a Misa do Santíssimo, which is you kind of write down on a piece of paper what you want, and then like they pray on it. And I went, and the priest was just talking about, like, you know how like they usually like relate the Bible to you, and they just start like relating things. And I feel like the conversation just got so deep.
No, but
I love it.
But that's why we're here.
I know. I love it. And we were just talking, and I just bawled, like just cried. And I asked for grief. I asked for peace. I asked for guidance. I asked for understanding. And I left there like I left 10,000 pounds. I was just like free. And I cried 3 times in a row. That's how much
energy was balled up and that you needed to release.
Yeah. So that's when I started like believing in like the spirituality and like the mind and the body and how like that's kind of what takes over. And like if you have certain pains, it's where you hold certain stress. When your leg is shaking and vibrating, you're holding anxiety. So like that's why when you're constantly moving, it's like things leaving your body.
So you have to release and allow yourself a release, right?
Yeah.
And do you think that most people nowadays, and it ties into the whole thing of like being like allowing yourself to take a step back and just being alone? I'm a firm believer in that, and like how loneliness nowadays, it's being, considered this, I guess it has a somewhat of a negative connotation to it. Like, oh, like you're antisocial, like if you allow yourself time to be alone.
Right.
But I think that allowing yourself time to be alone and to kind of be with yourself and understand who you are, and again, to curate the purest form of you possible, you have to kind of dig deep into the dark
You have to go through your
sections of
dark
your brain.
moments to bring light.
Your brain, like there are dark compartments in your brain that most people neglect, but it's from those dark compartments that you flourish and you're able to, I don't know, just create
And if
something
you don't
beautiful.
accept and release, you'll hold it on forever.
Exactly. And acceptance is always the first step
Accept and release.
to everything.
You'll feel so much better.
We should make a t-shirt that says that: accept and release.
That's actually dope.
It is.
Accept and release.
Accept and release.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's... So do you think that the priest conveying those words, you kind of found in a capsule that you could kind of put your emotions onto, right? Like those words resonated, I guess, or
Definitely.
or they verbalized how you felt. So they kind of like, basically it's like, for example, you cried 3 times, right? Mm-hmm. So maybe before,
like, collapsing,
so maybe before you were having trouble yourself finding those words that would kind of like be able to verbalize your emotions. And so once you heard words that resonated with how you felt, then boom, you release that capsule. And I think that happens not only in church, but it happens in movies. It happens in music. Music, for example. Yeah, like I'll be driving, for example, like on days where, I feel low-key depressed or I'm having a hard time with certain things. I'll be driving down the highway, and if the perfect song plays, like a J. Cole song, for example, that plays, like there are certain songs that every single time I'll start tearing up. Like I'll start like just like driving by myself.
Brings out the emotions out of you.
It brings out, because those words kind of allow you, like it's, again, like they just allow you to be, to kind of like pour it out, because you can't find it yourself, but then you find an outward vessel.
Yeah, and now I have the gift of like feeling vibrations from people and good vibes, bad vibes, good intentions, bad intentions, and to the thing where like I kind of block it out. Like I just block it.
Mm-hmm. Are you able to like tell, for example, if I meet someone, generally like I'm able, like in the first 15 seconds, I'm able to tell if I'll either really like this person and fuck with them, or if I just
1000%
won't ever be able to fuck with them.
So
I could tell like instantly.
Not to talk about like my relationship, but like with my boyfriend, I've known him for years.
Yeah.
Oh, I've known him for like a year and a half, but we didn't really. We met at an event, and it was just kind of like he saw who I was, and he's like, "Whoa!" He just kind of just saw light. He says, and we ended up like all going to church, like we would all hang out and stuff. But I never like really. I was in a dark mind when I met him, so I didn't care about anything. Like this is before I actually figured out about God and like spirituality and like all this other stuff. So I just didn't like care.
Yeah.
I had a very dark past. But and then this time around when I went to LA, when I went to London is where I kind of found my sanity. That's where I started reading the book. Fuck it. And it opened me to seeing things very, very, very differently. And when I went to LA, I saw him at church, and I hadn't seen him in like 6 months. And I just called his name, and he like looked at me and was like this. And we just gave this hug, which was very spiritual and emotional. And I felt like it was God putting him in my life.
Wow.
And like people don't know this, but I'm just letting it out because it's very powerful and very strong.
Of course, yeah.
And from that moment on, it was just like real.
Yeah.
And like nothing. And he's very God-oriented. I'm very God-oriented. So it's very...
It just clicked. It just connected.
Very positive.
Yeah.
And God was speaking to us. We reconnected in church. It happened in church.
After all that time away from each other.
After all that
time. You just felt that despite the distance, despite the time, despite everything. And
it was literally in church. A week went by. We went on 3 dates. And then he asked me out in church.
Wow. So everything happened in that
in
environment.
church.
Yeah.
And that's where I found God to make me feel better that's where God gave me love.
Yeah. So do you feel like, for example, God is using him as a vessel or as a vehicle to like kind of convey what you need, for example, like all the love that maybe you were needing and you weren't maybe, you know, having access to via your mother, via friends or whatever. He's the one that's kind of like attaching that missing puzzle piece of like that thing that was missing that you couldn't really tell what it is. Then boom, it happens.
Yeah.
Do you believe in soulmates?
I do.
I believe in soulmates too.
It's still very recent, but we're very powerful.
And it's something so abstract too, right? Because even you explaining it, like you were able to explain it well, but you can't really define like what that thing was.
It's just like an energy force.
It just happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really hard to explain, and people are like, you can't just like da da da. But I'm like, trust me, like it's different.
Yeah. People probably told you like, don't jump the gun or don't, you know, like don't, I don't know. What, questions?
No, his sister just commented tears.
Oh, tears.
Because she knows.
Yeah.
Shout out to you, Alana.
Nah, yo, but that, like, I feel that is true. Like, I don't care. For example, there's a difference to me between what happens nowadays with social media, idealizing, right?
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people idealize relationships. You'll go on Twitter, you'll go on Instagram, and people have this standard of like perfect relationship, like like that standard, right? But I do believe that when you find your soulmate, you establish a standard.
Definitely.
So there is no standard.
There is none.
It's like the only thing that matters, or the only standard, if there is any, is what is right now, in that moment. And I feel like when you feel that for a fact, that's when you should, I guess, invest in it and just like, you know, put energy, effort, because I do think that
But it's not even putting anything. It's just so natural.
You don't even have to put much effort into it because it just happens.
It just happens.
Yeah.
Like I don't stress. I don't do it. It just.
Yeah.
It's just.
It's just healthy, right? Like it's not something that you're trying to
fix
maintain.
Or like trying to connect or like there's something going on. Like it's just pure 100% us. Like.
It's just real.
It's just really real. And I've had so many, like my past relationships have been horrible. I've been through crazy things in my life.
Yeah.
With him, it's something different that I've never experienced before. And I'm so grateful. And yeah, I'm still learning how to be in a relationship. I've never really been in one.
Nobody's an expert in relationships or anything. Yeah.
But I know that energy, God, and the vibrations between two humans is very powerful.
Yeah, for sure.
And I feel like in order to feel that, you need to believe that.
Yeah. Acceptance.
Yeah.
Accepting.
Just be you.
The possibility.
Love yourself.
Yeah.
I always say that a lot in my posts. Love who you are.
Love yourself first, and then you'll attract people
before you love. Yeah. And that happened to me after I loved myself. I had an angel jump from heaven right in front of my face.
Yeah.
That I've known, but I just blocked him out.
Yeah. And you have to learn and put effort into loving yourself too, right? Because it's not something that's
It's not easy. I do it every single day. There's days where I feel horrible. I'm like, I look like crap today. Oh my God, I got a pimple on my face. Like I'm hiding.
Yeah.
But like, get up.
It just is.
Got to push yourself to be better.
Yeah. Guys, if you have any more questions, I'm just going to check if they have any. So I answered Maria's question. I don't think there's any more questions.
Just like commenting on. They're just like, "Hey, what's up?"
Yeah, like that's all people say. It's like, "Hey, what's up?" But nah.
It's kind of like I just talk on my when I go live, I talk about my life. Like people ask me questions and I'll answer them. So that's why I feel like people don't even ask.
Yeah, because they already know.
But like since we're doing this, like I'll just post this and they'll be like, "Oh, cool."
Yeah. So how much time do you think we've done, in your opinion?
2 hours.
2 hours? It says here 2 hours and 54 minutes, 3 hours.
Wow.
I think. But this thing is always weird though, because then I'll pause it and then it just says it's an hour and a half or whatever. But.
Pause. I'm like, don't pause it.
Yeah, don't pause it. Yeah, 2 hours.
I feel like we touched base on a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Do you have anything else that you want to touch on to finalize it? Do you have anything that you've been again, we've used the word countless times, vessel and just vehicle and stuff. So this is a vessel in a sense. So you're obviously, I don't have a show with like millions and millions of,
But you
watchers
will
or
one day.
whatever. Hopefully. Hey, support. It's support believer right here. That's what's
Gotta
up.
believe.
You gotta believe.
Believe
yeah.
in yourself.
Believe in yourself. Love yourself. Believe yourself, and acceptance. Those are the
Exactly.
3 main takeaways from this.
We live and we learn every single day. Nobody's perfect.
Nobody's perfect.
Nobody's perfect. I wanna work it again and again until I made it right.
Who sings that? Hannah Montana?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm kind of not happy that I know that, but
You do have a little sister, so it's okay.
oh yeah, that's my excuse.
Cindy.
All right, so to finish this off, what I tend to always ask every single guest is basically staring into that camera right there. I want you to pretend that right now, every single person on this planet has an earpiece in.
Mm-hmm.
The words that you're gonna utter into that microphone is gonna be translated into whichever language they speak. They're gonna understand you. You have this opportunity right now to speak to every human being on this planet and convey a message, convey words. It could be anything. I always tell everybody, it could be anything. You don't have to overthink it.
I'm kidding.
It could be eat. It could be follow me on the gram. It could be deep. It could be whatever, a quote.
Yeah.
What would you tell every single human being on the planet right now if you had the opportunity?
The pressure is on.
No pressure. Just 7 billion people. Just imagine everyone in their underwear. 7 billion people in their underwear.
That's what I would do. Just laugh.
That's probably scary as fuck too. Imagine a mob of people in their underwear,
Oh no. I'd be like
all looking
go put
at
some
you.
clothes
It's like,
on.
bro, look some clothes on before you stare at me. What the fuck?
I just gotta say, whenever life gets hard, find something that makes you relieve all this stress. Because we all carry stress, burdens, things from our past. And we all have the right to let it go. We all go through things daily. Find what makes you release it. Love yourself. Believe in yourself. Trust yourself. And just live and learn, man. I just have to say, live and learn.
Live and learn, and acceptance. Accept yourself
Accept you.
and accept others. Allow yourself to accept. Allow yourself to love yourself. Give yourself that permission.
I got nervous talking about that.
Yeah. But that was great. That was fantastic. All right, guys. So that was episode 12
Whoop,
with
whoop.
Samara. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for just being
Did
so
you learn
open.
anything today?
Absolutely. Acceptance. I'm gonna make a t-shirt. I'm gonna start making some t-shirts and shit for each episode and just put the main phrases on them. Fuck
Oh,
it.
that's dope.
But and just I really appreciate the fact that you were willing to, first of all, come on here. Secondly, be so open about shit that I know is very personal to you. And yeah, hopefully, and I truly do think it will, this will, some of what you said will resonate very intensely with someone that's going to be watching this or listening to this.
Right.
And that's the whole intention behind the show. And if you look at that painting over there, we touched on everything that, stems or that kind of creates that beauty.
True.
It's just adversity and just defying all odds and everything. That's it. Yep. There it is. Success rose from the concrete. All right, guys. So with that said, thank you for watching, listening. If you're listening to this right now, thank you for listening. And yeah, stay tuned for more. Take care. Bye.